We're going to go again. What's happening is I am altering certain levels of privacy. So again, I didn't delete all the cookies. I didn't close all the windows in my Chrome browser, and the browser was open. So again, that's how you discover what level of intrusion, the capability that what level of intrusion capability that they have by various efforts of security. You minimize it, then you slowly increase it over time, seeing how they can move and what they can move. So again, like I was speaking, so the people on January 6th were brainwashed, but I believe they have a culpability not to do that. Right. But again, entrapment is the term that the FBI agent used, but and then the senator. But in reality, it's a certain level of what the average person would call brainwashing. Again, other people call it psyop. Other people would call some people, like the agents, will call it behavioral analysis, but it's at the level of criminal behavioral analysis. They are criminally intending to cause a disruption within behavior analysis using strong psychological methods and strong psychological or metaphysical curses. So they're devils, and they know they're devils. They're from a lot of rich families. They're from a lot of rich families also. So I have a double noise gate on now. I don't know if it's coming in well or not. I might have to actually check this. Maybe I should check it to make sure it's not being stuttered or anything. The PSYOP is on and up. That's why the president's being hit. So the fact that they're hitting, no, see, the LDS would tell you that they support Trump. They don't. They support the thing that caused January 6th. Right. But they're we're supportive of the president. We're conservatives. It's a lie. They're Nazis, the ones that are part of it. Right. Nazi wackos. So that's how they get Nazi wackos. All right, that sounds good. All right. So yeah, you have to minimize, like turning off the pop-up blocker. Like I said, there's certain things that you need to adjust in an investigation to ascertain the answer, and they seem like little things, but they could be everything, right? So once you discover their level of intrusion, then that you can discover their dangerousness, but also begin to realize where they are. In government, outside of government, who they've been around, how did they get that? Like the big thing of the leak of the CIA toolkit, I think that was a scam. They could have caused it, but I think they gave the toolkit away to people like Rick Henry, right? And those type of people that were peripheral, and they weren't supposed to, right? Not saying he had it, but somebody like that, and an official operator, somebody that's just part of the clique. What clique? The assassination murder clique. You definitely weren't. See, it works for them to have killed Epstein, because if it comes out that they murder people, we're killing people like Epstein. Right? Epstein probably committed suicide. Did they drive him to it? Probably so. Was he drugged? Possibly so. Do you see how that works? Well, if we're trying to kill you and we killed Epstein, then you must be like Epstein. See, again, the same bullshit, when they're actually like Epstein. And may have actually visited Epstein's. Any of these agents and officers, it's been around for a while, could have visited Epstein's island. I think the director of the CIA did, the former one. Right. Let's see. He's telling me to use the other one that I had. Let me take a look and see if that makes sense. Thanks, Larry. Where's that other thing? I'm a little behind, but I don't think I'm that behind. Like I said, I could turn the key in tomorrow and they wouldn't care. or not the key, the thingy. As they say, they owe me. Believe me, every place I lived, they owed me. But of course, you turned them against me. Right. With PSYOP, with brainwash. They were brainwashed to hate me. My wife was brainwashed to hate me. She used advanced CIA methods to get there. So then when I say that, they change the narrative. But why would we do that? There's something wrong with you that we would do that. Right. If you work with Slickster and Little Girl and Big Sister, you'd know that's exactly who they are. That's the kind of modus operandi they would use. Right. I mean, they saw sugar plum fairies of taking my job and me being destitute and homeless. They still want it. So they psychologically, they couldn't stand that I wasn't homeless because they caused it to other deputies and other federal agents, right? That they, here it is, that they started psychologically operating fear to live in a house or any type of residence. They're still doing it, but, it didn't work. So I guess they kind of shifted it. And maybe because I moved out a little bit, they have to refocus on, no church, no, because you're dangerous. That's how they are. You're darn right I am. But not in the way that you're all defrauding people about the word danger there. I'm dangerous to criminals, and that's for sure. And again, they tell on themselves, don't they? I'm dangerous to criminals. Right. Jonathan Luna must have been dangerous to criminals. While they killed him. Oh yeah, these people. Oh no, we're the people that worked with John. Right. They're the crazy ones, believe me. The easiest way to stay free and unconvicted in a murder investigation, if you're the murderer, is to be the investigator. And everybody else around it. Correct. I suspect that's who's been investigating it. People affiliated with the people that actually killed John. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to lift this thing in. I don't feel like messing up my back. I wish I had one other person, but Hashem tried to get me one other person, and they said no. That. That's pretty heavy. I don't want to mess my back up. I guess that's why I put it up on this, right? I don't have that thing. I think I know how to do this, so I don't strain myself. It's so freaking humid this year. It's absolutely disgusting. Entire episode in U.S. government history is horrific. But we got money and we go to church. That's it. Right. They tell themselves all the time. Nah, I don't even start. I went to church in good faith, as I always do. Wouldn't even think of using that for personal gain. Right. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a new vehicle. And my neck is Hashem duty station. I could get away with the smaller truck. Let's see. Yeah. We're still broadcasting. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, we're still here. I'd get away with the smaller truck because I have my van to put stuff into. Right. It's like a mini truck, you know. That'll actually make it the bigger truck. Right. Have that in there. No, they get off on me selling my stuff or giving it away. I mean, they get off on it. Ever since they were able to make me do that. And again, I'm not the first person they did it to. Right. Who do we do it to? Your victims, all of them, just like everyone else. Everyone else that's a criminal does it to their victims. And you're no different just because you're high dollar or you work for the government or know somebody in government, right, or work for a church. Right. So the PSYOP, the PSYOP on January 6th had to include a certain level of supremacist mindset. And we did see that in some of Trump's people. That's where they went wrong. Right. Well, to get at that stairway, you know, the stairway to terror, you have to, they have to believe that they are superior, right, to what the given law and system is, meaning whatever's playing out. Right. So again, when you break it down, they're using PSYOPs, and each one has a set of activities associated with it. The outcome can be adjusted, whether it's a friendly or an enemy. Right. But they're using the same, you know, psychology to effectuate the end result. Thank you much. That's going to be a little difficult. I wish I'd have got the trailer at this point. Like, this stuff would have just went bink, bink into the trailer. Right. Now I remember why I did the trailer last time. I guess I could still do it. Run over and get it, but I should. It takes a while to set up the trailer hitch. I know where it is, but I don't know if I have a hitch pin handy. I need a hitch pin. I know where the trailer hitch is all ready to go. Height-wise, it should be correct. Even if it isn't, I only got to drive a couple blocks this way and that way. Yeah, I should have got a trailer. I got the bag. It was a bad cue, but of course, I couldn't find anything yesterday, so that makes sense. Right. Because I would have bought a trailer and I'd done in like 2 trips or rented a trailer. At this point, it's kind of almost a waste of money. Oh yeah, let's just go in there too. Yeah, I'll be able to relax after I get this done today. And then, or tomorrow morning, whenever I get it done. And then, I got a whole month, more than a month, to plan the rest of it. And I'll slowly be moving stuff from my apartment over to storage. Well, what I could do, I guess this is not going to be difficult. I forgot. I can take the saw off of the stand, right? Metal. That'll make it easy. This I can use the thing trailer for the wagon thing. Yeah, this is no problem. The only thing that's going to be a little difficult is a kitchen cart that I have. Oh, they get off on all sorts of things. They're wackos, man. They're getting off on torturing people and fucking people's lives up. If you don't like my language, then you shouldn't have been at church. Because we're in the law enforcement mode now. We're going to talk to you like you're a dirty piece of shit criminal. Because the other criminals, they can't fight you because you got intelligence, money, and psychological methods and strong curses. And you're making them the criminals. So everybody will point at them and say, I'm a conservative. No conservative would do what you all just did in church. Thank you, Lord. I agree. Defiling the church like that. I agree. But based upon how the deep state works, I would say nobody in LDS really gives a darn. They'll just mind their own life and that's it. Right. And they'll go to hell. I mean, it just like seems like a waste of a lifetime. Now, God didn't say you get to trade off like that. So where they say they're conservative, they're the conservative wing of the deep state. So they'll cause conservatives to fall also. They could be the ones that are actually manipulating, the LDS could be part of the people that are manipulating Laura Loomer to go against the president. Agreed. That's how that works. And they're cursing me real hard. Whoa. So I can testify to the fact that members of the LDS Church and their criminal spycraft buddies, whether it be government or private sector, have strong curses. And are cursing they cursed me every day I was in that church. So don't say I all of a sudden cursed people that were cursing me and somehow that's wrong. Again, typical deep state, typical devils. They're not sinners, they're devils. Remember that. They're the ones that cause sinners. They're the ones that Jesus, actually named Rabbi Yeshua ben David, said can't be forgiven. Now, the whole Jesus thing is a scam. His name isn't Jesus. They Romanized it. Right. Like I said, the first pope of Clavius Monius. Right. I'm not saying that modern day pope has anything to do with it, but that's what it was. It was a money scam. Right. So they are extortionists. You have extortionists affiliated with the LDS Church. They've learned the extortions trade. Well, to tell you the truth, the president might be extorted. And he can't effectuate what he wants to in the church. He can't say exactly what he wants to say. Again, we all know what handlers are, and we realize they exist almost everywhere. Yeah, you wanted to be what you wanted to be, all of you. So the scuttlebutt is that the LDS Church was in for the last at least 10 years, right, against me, right. So every time I went to help them, it was, there's that guy. Right. They know the scam. They know the scam, and that's all it takes. I agree. Who? President Chris Monius. That's who it is. Again, they go, you have the answer now before they say it, because I'll go, why would we do that? That's one of their scam things inside. So again, that's part of the brainwashing, right? And you do have to look for ultrasonic voices being part of the brainwashing. So the part that you haven't got to yet is somebody moving voices around those operations. Remember, these people are propped up. They're not even supposed to be in federal government anymore because they've offended against their coworkers so many times. They should have been fired for ruining the government, the government product and the government workforce. Right. Thanks, Larry. Clavius Manius. LDS president, Clavius Manius. No, we're rather disrespectful to religion that's corrupt. We generally believe that that's worse than being corrupt in another place, and the laws will, and the sentencing guidelines will agree with us. It's yeah, to those people. Oh, I can't. But like even the Mexicans. Do you see that? How dare you do this to us? Remember, I was in the BOP. I'm every inmate's friend until there's reason not to. Get more information that way. So you have these correctional officers believe if you go hard, then you're you're the real correctional officer. But what they do is they screw up our informant system. Just like as I told ICE, you got to be careful. And I guess you're working your informant system now, right? DEA probably said, "Well, we don't have any informants anymore. we deported all of them." And I guess you kept them, right? But again, there has to be a steady flow, right? Of informants. 1811, 101. Yeah, you need fresh blood with new information. Right. Thank you, Larry. No, he did this to me for like 35 years, man. Killed my family, brainwashed my family. Right. That makes me dangerous, I'm sure. The person probably alive to talk about it. Let be the only one that would talk about it. Right. They keep calling me dangerous, and I'll keep explaining what you're actually saying. Oh yeah, thanks, Hashem. Okay, so I got another insight that came in. Somebody knows them, and somebody's watching them that isn't friendly to them, but they can't say anything. They don't even, like me, I had no idea where to take the information. So what they're telling me is that they do a lot of, and I said before, a lot of silent gestures, like yes, no, no, yes. So they may have one conversation, like a veiled conversation, to get it started. Like whether they should operate me or not, or operate somebody or not, or go in and break into the apartment, whatever. There'll be like a yes and a no, but there's no necessarily any direct communication. So when you're in these task forces and they might be around you and you suspect it's happening, just look and see if they're doing yes and no to each other in places where it has no question. Like, what is the question? What are they answering? What are they instructing? Right. Thank you, Larry. So somebody's on the, so we have people on the inside that would help you, but you have to find them, and you have to, they have to feel comfortable talking to you. Right. They're other officers and agents. A bush of orange. Because sometimes that's the kind of visions Hashem gives me. But I know there's somebody on the other side. Right. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about oaks, but again, we don't rule out, an oak should know, we don't rule out oaks until we can rule oaks out. Now, the LDS has to be discovered. It's going to be a shame because they're going to find sexual crime and things like that. But something has to. I mean, I'm not pro sexual crime, but it's probably it might ruin the church's reputation. But they chose to be it, so be it. Everybody knows I don't act out physically. I simply move spiritually and in recommendation for law enforcement activity. Of course, that makes me very dangerous. All right. gonna have to probably just cut it there and take it over. They're definitely cursing me in relationship to my disabilities and trying to fear me over them. I mean, I've been disabled for so many years. They just constantly defrauded everyone. So again, a church that attacks disabled people. Like, can you think of anything worse? But of course, they'll tell me I'm the one. So now, what's going to happen next if you let them go is they'll bring disabled people around me and go and say, oh, we have to test him. So the emphasis is that somewhere in my history, I've taken advantage of a disabled person, right? But of course, it's bullshit. Thank you, Larry. Again, they're very sick people. I would be absolutely healthy for like another 10 years if they hadn't done this to me. Again, they'll pay in hell. Real hell. Not church game hell. Oh, that makes him dangerous. That means he's going to do something to us. No, that means you're going to try to do something to me when you say that, because you're trying to get him in to do something else. Actually, an in by fraudulent suggestion and fraudulent evidence and fraudulent inference. There's no doubt. So what they'll say is, well, he freaked out because he's around a boss. Nah. They tried to get me too. Like the system I bought was called Boya. Now, agents will tell you, and this isn't why I bought it, because this is what I'll say why I bought it, that if they tried to freak me out about something called a Boya, because in other words, they looked at, again, it could be Satan stance, but when I Googled some of it, it goes also known as the quote unquote boys, and if I push through it like I did, and again, pushing through it is no indication when people stop, because they're psychologically torturing them with things that have nothing to do with the investigation. So there's like 15 people torturing the person, and of course they're going to maybe move in a different direction, and so they provide a false. So again, it's past entrapment. Entrapment is a very minimalistic term in this particular type of thing. All right, so I'm get away from that. When my life returns to normal, then you'll get up, all of you, because God's going to take it down. And if it's impossible, then it's impossible. It was obvious there was no way out of this ever. So what they do is they create a fake situation where some people get out of it. And, well, you passed the test. You're doing okay in life. All he had to do was be you. Right. BYU. Be you. Just let them see. Nah, they ain't test other people like that. She touched me sexually. She goes to hell for that. I'm a real Aaronic priest. And we don't play touchbacks or anything like that. The upper lights put you all in when you put me in. They said, well, Lawrence is finally moving along. Again, my name is really Yehuda, and that's what it will be changed to. But Lawrence. Now they're gone. They're out. We don't play that. CIA, FBI, and all that, full of sexual demons. Same thing with the rest of the police force. If you're not going to misuse sexuality, then they don't even want you, right? Except, there's probably, yeah, in any case, there's probably a couple people here, keep a couple people there. So that day came when you could increase my disability beyond a certain point, but it's not going your way, is it? Be careful what you wish for, because it could be your worst hell. Based upon their operations not bearing fruit, but the continuance of those operations, it says about them, it would say about them, they've done it to someone else and it worked. Right. So I'm not, they try to make you think it's about you. It's typical, intelligence. It's like a POW camp, like a KGB POW camp or internment camp. That's why we can't successfully navigate the world, because these people sold out to Satan. The whole LDS church could be. Because the fact is, if you stay there after they do this to somebody, then you're in with devils. You're at least a demon. So I believe that the cartels are trying to extort the California politicians and some others because they're not successfully navigating the cessation of the deportation operations. Right. There's these spies I speak about. They are connected somehow to narcotics distribution and their intelligence efforts, which could be Mexico proper, like Mexico intelligence agencies, could be cartel. So that's another member of what this could be. The unholy alliance. No idea why I need gas again. Doesn't make any sense. But we'll get some gas. I probably got to go offline for a second. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.